Guys, so this video was kind of delayed. The Eagles lost to the Cowboys 26-51 in a game where we rested starters. Many of the starters did not play in this game. Kelsey came out and took the first snap to keep his consecutive starts streak alive. I believe he is now at 122 consecutive starts, so it was nice to have that keep on going. Devonta Smith was in for, I believe, 3 series. It was good to see him break Deshaun Jackson's record for most receiving yards for an Eagles rookie wide receiver. It is true that Smith played 17 games to Deshaun Jackson's 16, but you also got to keep in mind that the 2008 Eagles, they threw the ball 606 times compared to this 2021 Eagles team who threw the ball 494 times. So Smith broke the record even with a team that threw the ball less, because this team became a running team, a predominantly running team, and he did it on less receptions as well. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did want to win this game. I'm not going to act like I didn't care about it. I wanted to win this game. Yeah, we get swept by the Cowboys, but Nick Sirianni, he was looking at the bigger picture. Personally, I would have played our starters in this game. I would have played them. Now, I disagreed with Sirianni's approach to this game, but I understand why he did it. Because he didn't want to risk any injuries, like losing any important guys. Tyree Jackson, one of our tight ends, he tore his ACL in this game, so that does kind of back up his argument. So hopefully it works out for us. We got our guys resting. They should be healthier. Hopefully Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, those guys should be available next week. But I want to talk about the good stuff I saw in this game. So the Eagles, I believe they took the first score. They were up 7-0, and eventually the game was tied 17-17. So these backup players, they were hanging in there. They were hanging in there because the Cowboys, they played their starters for 3 quarters in this game. For 3 quarters. And with that 17-17 tie, that showed to me that these backups, these guys that were just out there trying to prove themselves, they were hanging tough against the Cowboys starting lineup. It was 17-17, and I think this is right before halftime. Our punter, he gets off a terrible punt, a horrible punt, and it seemed like the momentum shifted after that. The Cowboys, they would decisively pull away. Cedric Wilson had 2 touchdowns. I believe he had over 100 yards receiving. Dak Prescott had 5 touchdowns against a backup secondary. Way to go. You threw 5 touchdowns against a backup Eagles secondary. Oh, rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. That is such an impressive achievement. Well done, good sir. Yeah, so anyway, besides the backups, I want to talk about some players in specific. So Milton Williams, I believe he had 1 or 2 sacks. He looked very good. Milton Williams, he's been kind of a backup defensive lineman this year, but I really see this guy being a problem. He could be a problem in the future. And then Kenneth Gainwell had a great game. Kenneth Gainwell, he ran very well against the Cowboys. He had some nice footwork to get some tricky first downs. Jason Huntley, another running back, he had a very good showing as well. And I'm in the same camp as a few other Eagles fans who want to see Huntley on punt returns. I think Jason Huntley could make a good punt returner. It would be refreshing seeing him back there instead of Jalen Reagor. And then, it was somebody else. It was Milton Williams. It was Huntley. It was Gainwell. Well, I guess it was just those 3. Now, there was some bad in this game. Jalen Reagor had a bad drop. I thought he was improving these last few weeks, but really bad drop. I can't remember what down it was. And then J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. J-Jaw. Umbrella Man. He drops a touchdown in the end zone. It goes right through his hands. It's inexcusable. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, he's a good blocker. He's a good blocker, but that's pretty much it. That's all he does. This guy was a 2nd-round pick. And basically, we're keeping him on the team just because he can block well. And he's on special teams, I believe, as well. JJ, man. A lot of people think that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, he might be the worst pick of the Howie era. He very well could be. He really could be, honestly. But so, some things I saw I liked, some things I saw I didn't like. But this game, it was meaningless. I wanted to win, but it was meaningless. Personally, I believe if our starters had played in this game, we would have won. I know everybody's saying that, oh, the Eagles got blown out by the Cowboys in week 3. That was a completely different Eagles team. Doesn't even play remotely the same as we play right now. We threw the ball 3 times. 3 times the entire game. This Eagles team we have today, they wouldn't be caught dead running the ball just 3 times a game. Wouldn't be caught dead doing that. Completely different team. I hope we see them in the playoffs. And then some crazy things happened yesterday. So the Indianapolis Colts go down to Jacksonville and get dominated, destroyed, humiliated by the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got eliminated by the worst team in the NFL. The very worst. The Detroit Lions are better than the Jaguars. They had a golden opportunity in front of them. All you had to do was beat the 2-win Jaguars team. The 2-win Jaguars. All you had to do was beat them. And they crapped it to bed. Carson Wentz didn't look good. He threw an interception, his first interception in a road game this year. He lost a fumble. Fumbles have always been a big problem for Wentz ever since he came into the league in 2016. And it was just a disaster. Disaster for the Colts. They came into this week with a 80% chance to make the playoffs. And now look at them. Just heading home. Eliminated. Going to the couch. And I gotta say, I'm not a big Howie Roseman fan, but he absolutely nailed this Carson Wentz trade. So Carson Wentz, who was the worst quarterback in the NFL last year, and I like Wentz, but it's true. He was the worst quarterback in the NFL. He was terrible in 2020. We ship him off to Indianapolis, and we got a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and we still make the playoffs. We made the playoffs, while the Colts, they missed the playoffs with a better team and a better coach. I mean, I like Nick Sirianni, but Frank Reich, I believe he's a better coach right now. The Colts just totally crapped the bed. They crapped the bed. All you had to do was beat Jacksonville. They couldn't beat Jacksonville. Of all teams, the Jaguars eliminated them. How does that happen? I saw a stat before this game, right, about how the Colts, they hadn't won in Jacksonville since 2014. That doesn't even matter. They still should have won. This is a 2-win team. It's a 2-win team, and you couldn't beat them. You couldn't beat, I believe, their first game earlier this year, because they play twice a year, they're division rivals. It was very close, but I never even imagined that the Colts would lose to the Jaguars. It helps the Eagles, though, because the Colts, now they're not making the playoffs. So that means the pick, it can't be any worse than 15. I mean, I think it is at 15. So if they were in the playoffs, that pick could have gotten worse and worse. But because they're not going to the playoffs, then they just really saved our pick. Howie Roseman swindled Indianapolis. He gets a first-round pick for a guy who is statistically the worst quarterback in the NFL. He gets a third-round pick as well. He got a first-round pick from Miami in addition to landing Devonta Smith. Like, Howie Roseman, he's been doing a good job as of late. I know we all remember J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Jalen Reagor, passing on DK Metcalf, passing on Justin Jefferson. But as for this last draft, and as of late, Howie Roseman's been doing a very decent job. If we're being honest, if we're being objective, he has been. I'm not afraid to say that. I know that there's a lot of anti-Howie sentiment in the Eagles community, and for good reason. He's messed up quite a few times. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Howie Roseman, he has been doing a very solid job as of recently. So the Colts lost. They're eliminated from the playoffs. And the only thing that could have made this better was the Dolphins losing. The Dolphins actually beat the playoff-bound Patriots yesterday. They beat the Patriots, and it was in Miami. For some reason, the Patriots, they do not play well in Miami. The Patriots, it seems like the Dolphins always beat them in Miami. But what really shocked me was that the Dolphins beat the Patriots earlier this season, the first week of the year. Week 1, they beat the Patriots in Foxborough. They beat them in New England. They went into Gillette Stadium and beat the Patriots. So I was thinking, okay, since the Dolphins won the first game, surely the Patriots are going to win the second game, even though it's in Miami. I was wrong. So the Dolphins, they swept the Patriots, And it kind of sucks because I really wanted the Dolphins to lose to help that draft pick too. But it is what it is. It is what it is. The Dolphins, they won, but I think that pick is around like, it was somewhere around like 14, 15. I can't remember exactly. And another few things yesterday. So the Giants lost to the Washington. Washington sweeps the Giants. And it's interesting because there's a certain play. The Giants go for a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9. These clowns did a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9. Joe Judge, I really could. So I'm going to be honest. Last year, I actually thought that Joe Judge was a decent hire. I thought he was a decent hire for the Giants, but oh my God, was I wrong about that. This guy, he stinks. He stinks. I'll never forget the first game of the season, week 1, against the Denver Broncos. This man, Joe Judge, challenged a reviewable play. A reviewable play. And then he goes for a 3rd and 9. On 3rd and 9, he does a quarterback sneak. And it's funny because Joe Judge, this very same Joe Judge, last year, he was criticizing Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning head coach, for just not putting his best foot forward, for not respecting the game, for not putting their best effort. Yet this guy, he goes for a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9. Really? Really, bro? The Giants, they are trash. The Giants are horrible. Oh my God, and it stinks because we lost to them earlier this year because Jalen Reagor decides that he's not going to catch 2 touchdown passes that go right through his hands. He lets them hit him in his freaking face. The Giants are just, no hope for them. Giants are just bad. And then the game last night, Sunday Night Football, the Chargers and the Raiders win or go home because because the Jaguars beat the Colts. That means that the Steelers could have gotten to the playoffs. The Steelers were in position to get in the playoffs unless the game ended in a tie between the Chargers and Raiders. And this game was crazy. Justin Herbert, he was converting every 4th down imaginable. Derek Carr, he was putting up a good performance as well. Zay Jones, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, these boys are balling out. This game, it goes into overtime. It goes like back and forth after like one possession for each team. And then there's a point where before a 3rd down, it looked like the Raiders were actually playing for a tie. It looked like the Raiders were playing for a tie because keep in mind, if the game ends in a tie, both of these teams are in. These teams aren't the ones that lose out. The Steelers are the ones that would have lost out. But then Brandon Staley calls a timeout. He calls a timeout. And then after that, Derek Carr even admitted this. He said that the Raiders' strategy changed, and then they kicked the game-winning field goal. It was a heartbreaking loss for the Chargers. Unbelievable. The Chargers did a lot of stupid things in that game as well. First of all, they went for it on 4th down at their own 18. Why would you do that? Why would you go for it on 4th down on your own 18-yard line? And then they miss a field goal. The Chargers miss a field goal. It's a classic Charger specialty, missing field goals. It's been a part of their history ever since San Diego. The Chargers and missing field goals. It's a classic combo. Brandon Staley, like he's done some really stupid things. If you all remember that Thursday night game against Kansas City a few weeks ago, he shaved a lot of points, went for a lot of unnecessary 4th downs in that game, looking like Doug Peterson. And the Chargers are going home now. Justin Herbert had 6 4th down conversions, all for naught. Justin Herbert, he put the team on his back. They were down like 29-14, I believe. The Chargers were down 29-14. They come back from being down 29-14 to tie the game, put it in overtime, all for naught. Brandon Staley, he's really, I think Brandon Staley's kind of overrated. And speaking of rookie head coaches, Nick Sirianni is the only head coach to make the playoffs as a first-year head coach. He is the only coach in the NFL to make the playoffs as a rookie. Nick Sirianni, the only rookie head coach in the playoffs. Nick Sirianni, he's really impressed me, man. There was a lot of videos where I was criticizing Nick Sirianni for not running the ball, but the guy's come around. So he's beaten 3 other rookie head coaches in Arthur Smith, Falcons, Dan Campbell, for the Detroit Lions, and then Robert Saleh for the Jets. He lost to Brandon Staley in the Chargers, but where's Brandon Staley now? Brandon Staley is going home. Brandon Staley's Chargers are eliminated. Brandon Staley, he cost his team a playoff spot. I honestly think that Brandon Staley cost the Chargers a playoff spot. He made so many dumb decisions. So many dumb decisions, man. Not just this game, but the Chiefs game. It's just Brandon Staley. I heard so much about Brandon Staley. People were saying that Brandon Staley was the best hire. I was hearing that Nick Sirianni was the worst hire. Everybody was making fun of him after that initial press conference where he stuttered, he looked nervous, but of course he's nervous. He just got hired to his first head coaching job. It was a big day for him. Of course he's going to be nervous. I don't care about the guy's public speaking skills. I just want him to win games. If you could call a good game, who cares if you don't know how to public speak well? Who cares? I don't care. Just go out there and win games. Win division title, win championships. You could stutter, you could stammer, you could look nervous all you want in the post game interviews and the press conferences. I don't care. Just win the games. So our opponent is now set. It was pretty much determined before this game that our most likely opponent was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will be playing them on Sunday at 1 p.m. We played the Buccaneers earlier this season. I was there at the link. We were down 28-7, not running the ball, but then we rallied, really started to run the ball in the fourth quarter. The Buccaneers, they hung on to win 28-22. That was Zach Ertz's last game as an Eagle. He had a touchdown on our opening drive, so that was nice to see him score one final touchdown with the Eagles. But this team, it has changed dramatically since that Thursday night football game. This is a new Eagles team that the Buccaneers have to see. I think that we have a good chance to shock the Buccaneers, personally. I do. I know a lot of people think I'm going to be crazy for saying that. But you know what? I'm going to say it. We can beat the Buccaneers. We can. The Buccaneers, they were down 24-10 against the New York Jets. The Jets had them. The Jets had them. Now, they did come back to win that game. But the fact that they struggled against the Jets, we can beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We can beat them. In fact, earlier, now you could argue this was garbage time. When we played the Buccaneers earlier this season, we rallied from 28-7. We brought it to within 6 points, but then we got called for a horrible taunting penalty against Jernard Avery, which totally took the air out of the balloon. It totally just deflated any momentum that the Eagles had at that point. I thought we were going to sneak that game, but after the taunting penalty, it was pretty much over. But we're ready for round two. The Cowboys are going to play the 49ers. I think that could be a dangerous game for Dallas. I do think the Cowboys will win, but it's a dangerous matchup because the Niners, they just came back from being down 17-0 against the Rams in Los Angeles. They came back to win that game 27-24 in overtime. I don't know what's with the Rams just cannot beat the 49ers. The 49ers own the Rams. They got the Rams figured out in every single way. I just don't get it. They've won 6 straight games against the Rams. The 49ers, they really own LA. They own LA. That win by the Niners eliminated the Saints. The Saints, who beat the Falcons decisively, all for naught because they're not going to the playoffs, which I'm very happy about. I don't like the Saints. I really dislike them. And I'm glad they beat the Falcons too because people kept saying that the Eagles were winless against teams that finished the year with a winning record. The Saints, by beating the Falcons, they finished the year 9-8. That's a winning record. 9-8 is a winning record. So that whole thing about the Eagles being winless against teams that finish with a winning record, it's not true anymore. It's not true. And the Rams will play the Cardinals. The Cardinals and the Rams on Monday night, I believe. That should be a good game. It's going to be in LA because the Rams won the division. Although I do remember the Cardinals beating the Rams in LA earlier. So we'll see what happens. They should be healthier. DeAndre Hopkins, maybe he'll be back for that game. But it's set to be a very interesting playoff weekend next week. But I'm really focused on the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Beat the stinking Bucs! Peace out, guys.